Well, welcome to class. All right. I hope everybody's excited and ready to get started. I know some of you are kind of depending on where you are. You might be taking intermediate one along with this class, or maybe cost along with this class. Typically, it's your first class in the major. So, welcome. I'll show you who you can figure out who I am and what that looks like. So what you're looking at right now is your Canvas site. So hopefully y'all are familiar with Canvas and what that looks like. I just wanted to kind of give you an overview of the course so you'll have an idea of what it looks like. And we'll look at the syllabus and all that in a minute. But hopefully you'll see, announcements. I don't send emails. I send out announcements. So if you've ever thought you missed an email or something from me, you can just come back in and look at your announcements. Make sure that you click on the announcements in Canvas so that you get the emails, okay? All right, and so this is how I lay out the course. Actually, I've got the course material. I'm going to come back and walk you through that, but just so you have an idea, we're going to have 4 exams, and so I group the material, exam 1, exam 2, that's chapters 4, 5, 6, and 7, exam 3, and exam 4, okay? The final exam is exam 4. We don't have a comprehensive exam. This isn't a typical accounting class. There's no problems, all right? You're not going to work exercises. This is a content, and you'll hear me through the slides and stuff. You know, one of the things that counts is we got to know a little bit about everything. And in this information system, we got to understand what the system is. And so you'll see that in the first class discussion. You'll learn a lot about what the class is about, okay? But what you're going to have every class is, notice you've got PowerPoint slides, and those are just typical slides. PowerPoint, you can pull it down, kind of look through it. But what I've also done is this, I call it a class discussion, but it's actually the PowerPoints and me talking through them. But I've done it in a YouTube video, okay? So there it is. You'll see, right? Information is going to come out. One of the nice things, make sure that notice it's closed caption, relevant or loud. It's closed caption, so it's kind of like having a script. So if you need to go back and look at something, you'll have that that you can always use. Okay. So everything I do videos this semester, except my personal biography, is in PowerPoint. It's in YouTube, so you'll have the closed caption. Okay. So there'll be one more video coming, and it's going to be called Problems and Exercises, and I'll show you in a minute. But what I plan on doing, well, let me take you to the book, okay, and we'll come back. But what you'll see at the end of the textbook, okay, there's exercises and discussion questions. In the past, I would have you kind of do this, but I'm going to answer them. All right. So we'll do a video. I'll kind of talk through them, because what these discussion questions and some of the problems do is they bring in the real world. So I want you to be able to take the textbook and move it into how that works right in the workplace and what that ultimately looks like. All right. So I'll come back and talk about that again in just a second. So this is a new book. I didn't use it last semester, so you're getting all new videos. And so the videos will come out before the next week. All right. So I've still got to do this one video here. By the time you log into this Monday or Tuesday, you probably will already have that video because this is Saturday night now. All right. These are your assignments, and I'm going to walk through them in the syllabus too, but you got to read the chapter. Okay. So you remember, I'll show you in a second how to get there. But once you get into, you got to read the chapters, right? Remember, we're here to what? Not to get a grade, but to learn. And so you get a point for reading the chapter, and then there are going to be 10 multiple choice questions that you'll have. All right. There's this other assignment called a dynamic study module, and it's really kind of cool. There's about 30 multiple choice questions, and you get 5 points just for attempting it. But it's a great study tool. It's got about 8 concepts per chapter. You ask a question, it asks you a question, you answer it, and you tell them your confidence level. I'm real confident or I'm not. If you get it correct, it brings up another topic. But if not, it brings up some other questions to kind of help you understand that concept. Great study tool. And then you're going to have some end of the chapter assignments to work. That one's worth 10 points. Chapter 2 is worth 7. Chapter 3 is worth 6. All right. Sometimes, all right, you'll see that, okay? there's 18 chapters, so might not always look like a lot of points, but it will by the end. Okay. All right. So the syllabus. Let me walk you through the syllabus real quick. Okay. So now here's the thing. A lot of y'all are working, or you're not in Greenville or whatever that is, and so for me online, I've got an in-person class this semester at 3:30 on Monday, Wednesdays. So my office hours are 2 to 3:30 and then 5 to 6. But really, the easiest thing for you and me is just email me. All right. I got email on my phone. It comes to my watch. So I will always email you back within 24 hours, but probably within an hour or two, if not quicker. Okay. Depending on where I'm at. I always respond back to emails from students. So that's probably the best way for you to reach out and get to me. Okay. Here's information on the book, and you guys have that first day, so it makes it very inexpensive. Hopefully, y'all have all done that, because you have to have the My Lab. You can't just have a textbook. Okay, so make sure you have that. I'm gonna log you in and show you where My Lab is. Let's see, course objective. You can read through that. I always say this on tutoring. Tutoring in this wouldn't be a big deal because there's no problems and things of that nature, but in any of your classes, if you need a tutor, you know who your best tutor is? It's your professor. Man, they know they know what's on the exam. All right, so make sure you use them as your tutor. Y'all remember taking this SOISs at the end of the periods, student instruction, student observation instruction, whatever that is, opinion, student opinion of instruction survey. It's written right there. These are the 10 questions that y'all answer. Listen, during the semester, if one of these isn't being met or you're kind of concerned, go on and reach out to me. Don't wait till the end of the semester. Go ahead and let me know now, and we'll try to figure it out, okay? All right, so your grading scale, 4 exams, 4 projects, the reading assignments, end of chapter assignments, and dynamic study modules. Now, listen, on the undergrad, plus, minuses, and all that, so every point counts. There's just 1,000 points, so, 10 points is 1% of your grade. So don't let something, slide. All right. 4 exams. It's not comprehensive. Now on the proctoring, we're going to use a lockdown browser. Y'all have done that before. You may or may not be familiar depending on which class you've already taken, but we now in accounting are using a side view camera. So that'd be like a webcam. Most of you probably already have one, but if you don't, if you purchase one, $30, $35. Luckily on the first day, it's not, that program makes it less expensive, but you only buy one. Okay. So throughout the rest of your accounting career, you can use the exact same camera because almost everybody's requiring it now. And it's really for you. It's for your benefit because it saves those that may or may not cheat. But I'm telling you, it works. You put it on the side, and I'll have more information for that later. But I can see you. I can see the screen. And it just helps the integrity for everybody, especially the degree and for you guys. All right. So remember, our semester is going to run from Monday through Sunday. All right. So everything's due Sunday night at 11:59. Most everything. All right. I'll show you in a minute. But typically you can in your mind go 11:59 on Sunday night. However, you can work anything early. Okay. Remember, you can complete these things early. All right. So remember I said, read the textbook. There'll be some articles, some current event things that I post just for you to read, not to be tested on. That study module I talked about. Okay. So while each one is just 5 points, it really helps prepare you. Okay. Discussion questions. All right. You'll do some of your own exercises. They're listed back there, and the Excel projects. All right. I've already got an idea on 2 of them I'm going to use. I change them every semester, what I want you to do. But, man, you have got to know Excel. Now, we're going to talk about Tableau, Power BI, Microsoft Access, ERP systems in this class, but it's not a software technology class per se. You've got to understand it, and when you watch the videos, you'll see why. But I'm not going to have you spend 2 weeks trying to figure out how to do Microsoft Access when you can pick that up at the workplace, but you got to know Excel. So we'll do some things, and nothing hard, just enough that you're comfortable, and hopefully most of you already are. Okay. Listen, here's the end of the deal. We're going to talk about AI. We're going to talk about Chat GPT and stuff. And those are valuable tools. However, they're not valuable for you to take multiple choice questions that you're assigned, stick them in there and get the answers. You're here to learn, right? Now you can dig in and get a little better explanation and get some more information to dig into. And we'll talk a little bit about how you got to use that in your benefit. But I always use this quote by Keith LeClaire. Y'all see this over here. Here's what it says. It says, man, if you're going to put your name on it, it should be your best work. So don't be cutting corners. Don't be cheating yourself out of the knowledge and the time that you've paid for to come here. All right. All right. So there's the canvas. There's the schedule. So you'll see that same schedule. I'm fixing to go back to my lab. Everything's due on Sunday. You got a personal biography due this Friday night, the 16th. I'll talk about that in a second. And I don't have the projects in here yet. Okay. So they may not be on a Sunday night. The 4 of those. But when I do the projects, I will give you 7 to 10 days advance warning of when those are due. All right. So that'll give you plenty of time to do that. Notice that the exams, 28th through the 3rd, 31st through the 3rd. So you'll have 3 or 4 days to take the exam. So that'll work in your schedule. The final exam is May the 1st through the 3rd. All right. So what you have under course material, that was the syllabus. A course overview, this is what you're watching right now. So if you're watching this, you know where that is. There's a handout to get to my lab. You'll go right here, Access Pearson, and that's how you'll access it, okay? Should be very simple. And then you get into my lab, which is this. This is your home page. I'm not sure what happened over here. This is when I think I opened them, but that's not the due date, right? So if I go to the 18th, there's your due dates. All right. You also notice back over here, see all the due dates over here in Canvas? So y'all should be used to Canvas. Y'all have been doing this a while. And then there's the textbook. All right. Pearson e-text, and that's what got you over here. All right. Okay. So, hey, and I did a personal biography. That's me telling you my story. Now that's your assignment. And that's where you're going to tell me. All right. You're going to upload a Word document and tell me, hey, why am I online? How did I pick ECU? Where do I live? What are my goals to be an accountant, right? So I want to find out that information from you. But first, I told you about myself, okay? So I gave you my own personal biography. So you know a little bit about your professor. When I say little, I'm kidding. It's 13 minutes. All right, so I'm a talker. Y'all will figure that out all semester. Let's see. So I think I showed you, right? Yeah, and so when I talked about the class discussion, I pulled that up. So you'll have plenty of videos, and you'll have plenty of information, okay? All right, so I guess that means you should be ready to get started. All right, I'm looking forward to it.